Hey you guys, so I had another custom order that where the person asked me to make a cage liner with a pocket. So basically it would be like a pocket hammock but in cage liner form. So I did that, and I really thought that you guys would completely enjoy knowing how to do that, because it is pretty exciting, pretty awesome. I'm actually going to make some for my ferrets now that I've done it for her. So without further ado, I'm going to show you how to make cage liners with a pocket for your critter or ferret nation cage. Enjoy! Okay, so what I have here is a piece of fleece that's about 1.5 yards long. Just fold it back up so that your salvage edges are facing each other. They match up long ways, and that your fabric is now facing right sides together, so you should have the wrong side looking at you. Now we have this like this, and now for me I'm going to get my template, but for you, you could just get your cage pan. So you're going to put your template down. My template's for a top, but I can still do this. Now I always make my liners an additional 2.5 to 3 inches long so that they can tuck underneath the pan. So mine are going to be a little bit longer than your pan size. To make them longer, you're going to have to add 3 to 4 inches if you want to tuck it under. So now what you're going to do is you're going to trace your pan. Now this is going to end up being part of the pocket and also the bottom of your tray liner. This is not the top piece of fleece. To do this pocket, you're going to have 3 layers of fleece. Alright, and then cut this out. You can set this aside for a second. So what we're going to do next is, this is going to be my top fabric, or what I'm going to be using for the rest of the cage. Take one of your yellow pieces, put it right sides together. So you can also just retrace your pan if you want. Okay, so next you're going to cut out your top piece. I cut around my yellow piece so that both pieces of fabric would be the exact same size. So the real size of the pan is about 34.5 inches, give or take. So you're going to want to pick a top, whichever one is going to be the top of your pan. You're going to measure down so that you know where the actual pan in your cage sits. Because this is made longer so it can tuck under, but you only want your pocket to be as long as the actual pan. So you're going to measure down about 35 inches from the top to account for seam allowance, and then draw a line all the way across to your fabric. Okay, so now you're going to measure your fabric from the top to that 35-inch mark. Find the center, and you're going to cut a slit. So from the bottom where that 35-inch mark is to the top, find the center, cut a slit only in the top piece of fabric. So for me, that's the bumblebee fabric. All right, now what you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to fold it back. You want to create an edge, and that way it looks pretty on the other side. So you're going to unhook this piece right here from the yellow. You're going to move it up so that it overlaps your other bumblebee piece. So like this, because that's how you want your pocket. And then just kind of clip that in place for a second, and then clip the whole thing back together. So you should have about a couple inches of yellow with no bumblebee on it, which is okay, because I'll show you what's gonna happen at the end. Now what you need to do is you need to attach here and down here. So go to your sewing machine and stitch across the bottom here, and stitch across the bottom here. Now we've sewed the ends, just the ends. Okay. So what you're going to do now is you're going to go over to the sewing machine, and you want to stitch along this folded edge so that when you're done, you don't have a raw edge showing as your pocket. So see where these clips are? We created this edge. You want to sew along here to make sure that you have a nice pretty edge. So now that you've sewn that, you should have an edge that looks like this. It's nice and clean cut. And what you're going to do now is put it back together. So you're going to get your spots, line your yellow back up with your bumblebees. Put everything back together like this. This goes like this, and you want these to overlap so that once we sew this, it is a pocket. I'm going to cut off the excess fabric here. Okay, now that you've done that, you want to take this and you want to overlap it. So you want these to be over top each other, like this. Okay, so now what you're going to do, you're going to sew down each side. You're basically going to close this up. So you should have seams go all the way around this entire thing. And I recommend that you backstitch over each edge. Okay, so this is what it looks like. You can cut this piece off. I don't know why I even saved that. That made no sense. So just make that go away. All right. Now that you've done that, turn this right sides out. All right, so now you have this, and when it's closed, it'll look like this. Grab the yellow piece that you made, that you set aside. Put it right sides facing up. Take your pocket that you just created. Make sure that this is together. If you want, you could even pin this so that during this next step it stays in place and it doesn't just shovel by accident when you're sewing. Now, take this. You want these right sides together. Okay, so when I got the pan from my cage, my top is lined up here, like this. Move this up, but leave it about an inch or so because you're going to stitch that and you want to make sure that you know that that's going to be accounted for, so leave your pan there. So pretend like your pan is going to lay in your tray when it's all said and done, just like this. Which leaves extra space right here. And what we're going to do down here is we're going to draw a line like I did. You guys can see that. And I'm going to do a stitch across here so that I close this off. But I am not going to cut this off because I'm going to need this so that when I slide the pan in as a pillowcase style, we have a way to attach it so that the pets don't ultimately go up underneath. So I'm going to put a line, so stitch a line across here so that your pan cover, your pocket, is the exact size of your pan. But don't get rid of your excess fabric. Okay, so now that you have your two pieces pinned together, flip this over like this. Okay, so you flipped it over, and what I did was I pinned this so that it would be nice and pretty and have a pretty edge instead of all disheveled. Now take this, and you want to roll this. You're basically creating a lip so that it's nice looking. I'm going to attach some Velcro at the very end. Match these two seams up together. You're going to probably cut all that off in a second, but because we're going to make them stick together with Velcro so that your pets don't get inside of it, because they have the pocket and they don't need to. So just line that up nice and neat. Go to your sewing machine and top stitch along just here, and then top stitch along here. Okay, so now you have everything pinned on each side, and you've sewed this bottom part right here. And I recommend just cutting right along your seam line, but don't cut your stitches. Alright, now make sure this is all in place. Pin the sides. What you want to do is you're going to want to sew all the way around the entire thing. So from this edge up around the top, down the side. and then stop. Alright, so now we've stitched it all the way around except for this edge. We're going to flip it inside out, right side out I mean. Take out your pins that held this in place. And now you have a liner with a pocket that slips on. What we're going to do is I'm going to go test it out to see how it fits in the pan, and then I'm going to add Velcro here so that it Velcros shut, and that will be that. Alright you guys, so that's the video. I hope you liked it. If you do not sew and you're interested in getting cage liners with a pocket or just cage liners in general, please feel free to check out my Etsy shop. There will be a link in the description and a link above me. I just updated all of my fabrics, so there's all new fabrics to choose from. If you don't see one that you like, you can always message me and I can help you find something that you do like. If you like this video, please click the like button. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Please click the notification bell so that you never miss a new video, and have an awesome week, you guys.